Welcome to the FaceTime with God podcast. I'm your host, Kay Farrar, and yes, you have tuned in to the right place because we're bringing Christ to the culture and the culture to Christ. Because the gospel's not for old times, it's for all times. So we've got relevant topics, real people, and we're starting right now. All right. So I want to get into some meaty questions. Like we relaxed and we had a good time. But I want to get into a little bit of meat and potatoes here, and then we'll close out with another game. We'll do the game at the end. So real talk, tell us, because I did give the statistic earlier, right? Depending on what metric you read, I'm seeing anywhere between low 60 to 70%, they're saying, of Black youth who are born into single parent homes. And maybe even in answering this question, maybe you can tell us a little bit, did you come from a 2-parent family? But either way, tell us a little bit about what makes your family work, what makes your marriage work. How are you doing this when so many people are having a struggle with it?
Yeah. I would just start off to say I was a single mom, elder. Actually, I came back to Richmond with my oldest son, Justice. Things with his father didn't work out. He was already married and did not divorce. So I knew that's not what I wanted because I grew up in a 2-parent home. Mm-hmm. So came back here. I was like, Lord, let me get my life together, just some things, and made some choices. And I was just like, I'm going to go home for a while. And then I started, thank you, Ed. I started coming to a ministry that my mom was going to, that me and him currently attend, Christian Fellowship Ministries. And I remember I just was like, Lord, I want to have a relationship with you, but I also want to have friends. I want to have fun, and I want to be around people that love God like you do. Mm-hmm. So I'm just, dating, all of those things. But at the same time, I had already knew in my heart I wanted to be married, Mm-hmm. So, I guess coming from that background of just like, I graduated, worked hard with me being a single mom, bought my first home, all of those things.
Wow.
With the help of the Lord, and God established me as a single person and a parent and a mom. Mm-hmm. And then when I wasn't really, really like focused on anything else but him, a lot of things happened. But then Here comes hubby, who was already at the ministry. Uh-huh. So it was just one of those things. I just wanted a family. So I came from a 2-parent home, but I wanted a family. Yeah.
So I want to dig into this a little bit because we want to get some meat and potatoes. And again, we're about the real, right?
Yeah.
So I want to break this down so people can take it and see how it may apply to them, right? So, or for them. So you were saying that you got your own home. Did I hear you right that you said you got your own home when you were single?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, through the help of my apostle and some women
in
place, they just told me about a home program.
Okay.
I went through them, and yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So and that's why I wanted to kind of hit on that a little bit, because when you were saying through the help of the Lord, so I'm hearing two things. One, you met your husband, through being involved in church.
Yeah.
And then, not that just you came and you showed up and that kind of thing, you came and you left at church, but like you were in relationship with your pastor and some of the women there. Mm-hmm. And so they were kind of advising you and guiding you, and they help steer you and support you in the direction of, going through this program where you got your home.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that is outstanding. And again, it just talks about connection, community, and in a sense, your extended family that was very supportive for you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so Jeremy, tell us a little bit about like why being married and being a father and a family man. Why is it so important for you? And I guess maybe what you feel the difference is, because again, looking at the statistic, a lot of people aren't going that way. They're, they want to be in a relationship, but they're like, well, okay, we just be in a relationship, but we won't get married. So what, why was it important for you not just to have April, but to have a family unit and to actually be married?
Well, I came from a single parent home. My mom raised, they had three brothers, three boys and a girl. I'm the oldest. So you kind of like see how a single parent really hold on and working, how to provide and how to be strict. And we grew up in like the inner city. We grew up in like North Side Richmond, right? So I'll see my dad maybe once a year, you know. But that didn't come till like my teenage year, I first started like high school, I guess. So, as a kid, even as a boy especially, they don't always want to be around their dad. No matter if you do good, no matter if you do bad. That's what you. So you see like, especially the oldest, you see like what your mom had to go through. Like, the struggles, like 3 jobs, literally.
Wow.
2 and 3 jobs, But we didn't feel that, She worked hard and we didn't feel like poverty or feel like, the stats. You know what I mean? We didn't know it because she worked hard.
Wow.
She kept us in church. She stayed in church, kept getting the word. I think that would carry her, just like the strength. Just that journey. We would always stay in church, kept us in church, because it's easy to get caught out, like real easy. And she made sure, like, hey, get home before the street lights. Don't be around nobody you're not supposed to be around. Watch your brothers and sisters, like, that's the oldest, And you see it as the oldest, like, okay, you can see how it can take kids away from it. And you can see how the majority are single parent homes. I mean, most of them was mothers, grandmothers. And you see it, some of them don't have no parents at all, right? So you kind of feel like, okay, this don't supposed to feel right. This don't supposed to feel like the normal, you know what I mean? And you see like the other side. You start looking in and seeing like other cultures, and you might have those 1 or 2 examples that you see that, okay, like my best friend, my close friend, yeah, this mom and dad. And so I used to get on him like, man, he used to trip because his dad was real strict, like real strict, right? And I used to be like, listen, man, we don't have that. I said, you got your dad. You know what I mean? And I used to go back and forth with him. He was like, Jeremy, so I said, bro, your dad in church. He pushing y'all through school. Wow. Like, why is you complaining? So he kind of sit on my side, like, yeah, I see, I'm coming over here trying to hang out with y'all. North side, and he thinking it's all cool. He's originally from Chesterfield, so he didn't get to see, what I dealt with every day, right? So he like, yo, I understand what you mean. I understand, like, okay, my mom and dad is here. They working hard every day. They make sure in church. So he didn't feel like the effects that I feel, And then a lot of stuff I didn't notice until I got older. You know what I mean? Like, our father is important. Like, when you don't have for so long, you don't have your father. You know what I mean? You kind of be like, this ain't right, because you see so many kids just without a father, and you see like the influence.
Yeah.
The influence is heavy. Wow. And those the drug dealers, those guys stand out, guys skipping school. So you think that's amusing.
Huh.
You know what I mean? But when you start learning, like, okay, my mom she said, look, Jeremy, she helped me out. So when I turned 15, I got a job, right? I was working with her at McDonald's, right? And it was like my summer job, my first job. Not knowing, okay, I might get a little money, but I was just thinking like helping my mom. You still don't feel it all. You know what I mean? Because you don't know the bills she got to pay. You don't know everything. She didn't let you know all her business. She didn't let you know that. She just know. Give me a check. You know what I mean? Here's a little money for your haircut, little school shoes, stuff like that. So you don't notice until like later on, like, oh, okay, But I say all this say is, having a father it is super important. It seems like the kids cling to the father for that guidance, protection. You know, they run to the mom for the nurturing and, you know, the schooling and all that. You know what I mean? Like, women pick up certain things.
Yeah.
They just had as a man. You know, as the man, like, okay, especially I got sons. You know, you gotta teach them like what's really out here. Education. So, you know, all those things.
Yeah, so it's a couple things that you said again that I kind of want to dig into a little bit. So I think I heard you say that there were some of the kids like maybe in the neighborhood with you that you said they had no parents. Like, I mean, were they like, did they kind of just sort of, they had a place to stay, but they kind of had to run it themselves?
If you ever go on those sites, a lot of like foster homes and
okay,
what you call them, boy homes.
Okay.
Like that. So we would still see them knowing their situation. Okay. He's going into a home afterwards. I'm going to my mother, you know what I mean?
Got you. So it wasn't like they were kind of in an abandoned home by themselves, but they were like a lot
but
of
you do see
foster.
that too. You see that too. You have vacations where you see that. And you know, ain't nobody in the house with them kids. Like, you know that. Yeah. You know that that's going on. You know.
And so seeing all of that, how did that make things different for you once you got married and became a father? Do you think actually it worked to your good in the sense that, okay, at least you know what you're not going to do type thing? Or how did that just play into who you are today and how you raise your family?
Well, I'm going to start with my father first, right?
Okay.
So I know, you know, if I know I wanted my dad as bad as anybody else, even though I didn't see him, I didn't know him that much, but just having those memories, you're going to always want your dad. So you can see like, okay, if I cried, imagine when somebody have their dad every day, right? You want that connection. You want a father for you. You want a role model that's a man sometimes, especially boys.
Yeah.
You want somebody that you can like, look, I need help. Can I talk to you? Can I come to you for a mentor? You know. So I knew that going in when I was like 15, 16. It's like, okay, this is the last one. My dad said, hey, I'm going to come get you. You know, I'm going to come get you and we're going to spend the day, right? That day really went by and I didn't see him. And it tore into me, right? My mom comforted me, my brothers and sisters like looked out for me. But it was still like, you know, this ain't right. Because I'm hurting too bad, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, when I finally become a father, I'm gonna make sure my kids don't see that. They don't feel it. What I feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was one of the things like them choices, like them experiences. So it made me do for my sons, you know what I mean? Because I don't want them feeling it. And I see them every day.
And I think it makes them go hard too, because just Jaden didn't say, but Jeremy, I thought that would be his fun fact. He's an avid reader too.
Okay.
He reads a lot. Yeah, and he would see him reading. Okay. Like, I feel ashamed sometimes because I don't really read like that. I'll read a fashion magazine article. I got like books come into the house, all that. I'll read some articles fashion wise, all that blogs. But as far as a book, he will run through them. And I think that he spends dad day, like Saturday is family day, but usually it's like dad day too. Like and I think that's why he just makes a real effort, real good effort to be present and make sure that he's there. And like I said, I'm a single mom. He's taking in Justice as his own as well, even though Justice has a very strong, very like active father. But it's just that he just has a plus bonus dad. You know what I mean? So it's like we always say, you know, you just have double. You know what I mean? And even triple grandparents. So it's just like. I think it made him out of very more like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a good solid family and be present.
That is so awesome. So the other thing that I'm hearing is a lot of structure and order.
Oh yeah.
As to how your family operates, right? It's like you know, Jaden, he spilled the beans on the date night, right? But then even how he structures his own time. Yeah. I don't know of too many kids that structure their time like that. And he's just rattling off the times. Yeah. But that structure, because one of the things a lot of educators talk about is the lack of structure for many of our kids, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I kind of say, let's think about this. If you got a child that all of their activity is just really overstimulation. Like they're looking at, video games, and the games are like jumping, bumping, lights are blinking, you got to move so quickly, milliseconds to do these video games and whatnot. And then if they're just around just a lot of music videos, and then just always action, action, action.
Yes.
And then you come and want them to sit down in a classroom and sit still.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's how can you expect it to happen? And then you want them to go to, to do this activity and then switch and change and do that. And I mean, be structured in school when there really hasn't been any structure at home. But it sounds like in your case, it's really the opposite.
Yeah.
So how do you balance like the structure with, freedom? And I mean, do you think you guys are like super strict, or is it that you kind of lay some things out there, or is it just that the kids kind of know what's expected? Like Jaden, he structured his own stuff.
Yes.
Because within the expectations, I mean, maybe just tell us a little bit more about how the family dynamic works in terms of the structure and your day to day. Like, how does it operate?
Oh, yes. So, I would say we're very, very much so like we believe in order and just having things scheduled. And I never scheduled out Jaden's, day. I just started him off doing those things that he needed to do as he was transitioning from virtual to being at home. So he saw the benefit of like, oh, if I do these classes and I get all of my electives out of the way, I'll be finished. I won't have to take it in high school. I'll get the credit. So I feel like a lot of times just talking to the child and explaining it, and he in his mind like, oh, well, let me get this done. So then he started doing his scheduling and doing all the things needed for the different classes. And he realized if I get it done, I have free time to do whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, not mind manipulated, but just some kind of like letting him see, like even when you mentioned the screen time, he was on his game a lot and stuff. And so I just let him read an article. Like, boom, this is what it does to your brain. This is what happens. And he read it and was like, oh, no wonder you're scheduling my screen time, So I think a lot of times you're just real with them and just explain it. And him being smart, he's analytical. So he just read it and was like, oh, so I do need to have a time frame for this, that, and this. And he just always at 9 o'clock, it's time for bed. Let me go brush my teeth, all that. So once you start that schedule, I feel like the kids want that and they just pick up on it. So that's what he did, Our pastor is very much like just order. She just teaches us from that. Wow. And then even praying with him every morning. That's how we do our day. I pray with, Jeremy prays with me before he leaves for work. So we just have a schedule, but not really scheduled.
Right.
And I think that, I don't know, if I just feel like God just allows you to be that way.
I don't feel like it. Okay, some people outside looking at that is kind of strict. Right? I don't think it's strict. I think it's like order, like you said. You gotta have a time for everything, right? Right. Hey, Monday through Friday, we're gonna go hard, get this schoolwork done.
Yeah.
I'm working, your mom working, everybody here doing their part. When you sit on the game all day long, you don't do that because it's gonna mess with them. But it shows. You know what I'm saying? Their performance in school, it will start throwing them off because only way you think about that game, you think about that TV, right? So I let them have the game on the weekend. That's what we do. The games on the weekend. You do good in school during the weekend.
Earn it, yeah.
Earn it. Have a ball. Do it. We about to have a ball this weekend. But if you don't, you did what? You ain't paying attention in school. The screen is right there. How come you're not paying attention? If I get 1 or 2 instances like that, no game this weekend. Yeah. You gotta earn everything. I got boys. You gotta be hard on them. You gotta be like, look, this is how you do it. Get up, make that bed. I ain't gotta look at the time. I ain't gotta look at the watch. You know what time to be in that class. So.
Wow. So do you ever have to remind him
Oh,
to get on to class,
Yes,
or
ma'am.
is he
He's a child.
does he pretty much do it?
Now he does.
He does, but I mean, he's still a kid.
It took a
So you
while.
gotta. Sometimes they don't feel like, hey man, you know what we come for. It's time to knock this out. But you gotta show them the value of it. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you get out of it. You know what I mean? Even something simple as, okay, they want their game. They want trips. They want to do fun stuff. Trust me, I don't have no problem with saying, okay, we'll go to Kings and Men, but you want to ride no rides?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta
Wow.
reward it.
Yeah.
You can't let these kids have everything they want all the time.
Because we had already bought the pass and we wanted to go.
Wow.
But you just won't ride.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you got some boundaries and you stick to them.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah, you know, I've heard a lot of people talk about sometimes in our community, people, you know, love their kids so much that they don't say no, they don't correct them, they just don't want to, you know, put any boundaries around the kids.
That's something they're messing them up. You know what I mean? You can love him. He knows, they know, just as they know. If I love you, I'm going to tell you what's real, I'm going to tell you what's going to help you out. You know, what's going to set you up for life. But if I'm just allowing you just to have your game 24/7, don't pay attention. They be kids on, they don't even pay attention in school. Nothing. If I allow that, I ain't loving you.
Yeah.
You just
that's serious.
That's
yeah, we might put that in bold on the YouTube.
You gotta look at it like that.
And I always joke with him. I say he has like black daddy vibes. Like he don't be playing. We had something happen with our neighbor, and Jeremy came and corrected it. It was like even the dog, you know, was listening. Like it just, he just have a way like with just how to handle things and just kind of correct things. And I think in the black family, you need that man to have that. You know, I don't play that father. You know that. Hey, I'm a black dad now. You know, and I always be telling him like, and people get themselves together too, even at work.
Because
church,
like
everywhere.
The situation with, you know, the neighbor, right? Him and the neighbor kid. Some sound didn't sound right. So they throwing rocks. Is Jaden part of that? Somehow he was a part of it, right? So I said, nah, that ain't Jaden. I talked to him, I said, come in the knowledge. Let me talk to you. What's going on? Before but I knew the kid, the neighbor is lighting grass on fire, cussing his parents out. Like I see that, I hear it, I see it. They let him get anything he want. Room loaded. The boy got Amazon coming in there every day. Right? So they creating a monster. Right? So Jaden is close with the boy. Right? Jaden has this trait where he will follow the kid because the kid is older than Jaden. Right? He just had that influence on him. So I'm like, Jaden, did you throw them rocks? What's going on? Because everybody was complaining. He said, Dad.
What, they were throwing them at houses or cars or just people? Or just
the cars were so close, you could easily hit a car.
Okay.
But thankfully, they didn't hit a car, but it was some laying in front of people's cars, some rocks. So I said, and I believe it to the point he started crying. I said, Jay, if you're lying to me, you know you're in trouble, right? He said, Dad, I promise you. It was all him. And I said, all right. So I got the neighbor's kid. I said, come here and talk. I said, you see him crying. Was it you or both of y'all? You can be real, you can tell me the truth. He said, oh, Mr. Branch, yeah, it was just me. You know. And he kept it, you know. So I got on him.
Mom and dad.
But mom and dad, because they created a monster, then I gotta, everybody else gotta deal with that. Y'all make sure y'all teaching him the right stuff. Y'all don't watch him. I watch mine. You watch us. He know not to do all that, right? I'm not saying he won't ever do that because he's still a kid.
Yeah.
But if I know, like, okay, I know when Jaden did something sneaky, like he did something in no business, and I get him. He ain't gonna throw no rocks in nobody's car. I just knew it and light no grass on fire. So even though I corrected him in front of his parents, I got it off me. But the dad went in the house like, okay, like it's not. The mom went
stop barking.
But it was just like, you can tell ain't no training, ain't no teaching,
no training,
ain't no discipline.
No
and it's like, man, he'll sit in the front yard and cuss his mom out. And I'm like, but it ain't this. You see what I'm saying?
Oh.
You get it.
Hmm.
So I have to teach him. If you get caught in that, they're going to get you. Not him. He ain't. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to go into all that, but
Mm-hmm.
that's the stuff we fight. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And even as a child, you got to teach him why. You know?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, part of your structure, I mean, I'm just hearing so much, but it sounds like the rewards and the family time and the good times. Like, I'll be honest with you. Growing up, my parents took us on a couple of trips, but it sounds like Jaden was like, we travel a lot.
Yeah, it's when we do. It's
you put a lot
stuff, memories. Memories, and I know being in place.
I feel like and travel to me feels like wealth in a way.
It is.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
And so what that says is that it's wisdom, it's management of your funds.
Yes.
It's planning.
You save
and the thing is, you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're an entrepreneur and you guys are a young family, a relatively young family, and you're doing all these awesome things. You got the balance going on. And then you say you got your Saturday, your family day. So you got family day. Then you got date night. So Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, you got service, church service, and everybody goes together.
Yes.
So, and then Monday through Friday is work or school.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
okay.
I mean, that last day, Sunday, that's what ball all down to.
Yeah.
If you don't have God in Sunday, it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say, it ain't going to work.
All right, say it again.
It's just not going to work. How it not going to work? If I'm not in place in ministry or whatever I'm supposed to do, it won't work.
And so what do you guys do in the ministry?
Well, he plays and I sing praise and worship. We work with the youth. We just do whatever we can put our hands to do because we love just I teach dance. I dance as well.
Wow.
Jaden actually runs the screens and the computers at church. So he puts the scriptures up every Sunday.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing because my pastor gives him a little blessing every Sunday for doing it. So we're pretty active, right, babe?
Yeah, that's where the structure comes from.
Really
like the teaching, through the Bible, how to order your life, how to set it up,
Yeah.
Especially as a father. Parents, God first. And I promise you, if I didn't get the teaching, through the scriptures, passed down through my leader, I would not be the man I am today. I know that.
Yeah, thank God for our apostle who just we've learned so much about marriage. She's counseled us in marriage counseling and married us, and it just I say that because I have friends that married other men in other ministries, and they always say I wish we were taught the same things and brought up under the same word or whatever, and we know that's our foundation, just God and just being there. And both of us are very loyal and committed.
My goodness, this is so good. And we're not done. Join us in the next podcast for the rest of this story.